Welcome to Patty's Aquatics and welcome to my fish room. So I've been breeding rice fish all summer long. So today what I want to do is really show you how I'm doing it. I'm going to show you step by step the containers I have them in, spawning mops I'm using, how I'm collecting the eggs, how I'm hatching the eggs out, and how I'm growing the fry out. So I'm going to show you everything, a complete how-to video on how to raise and breed Medaka rice fish. So stick around. Medaka ricefish, they are probably one of the more popular fish among hobbyists, especially for those that love to do summer tubbings in the summer and put fish outside. They're quite popular for that. They also have so many different color variants within them. There's definitely a color for you if it's something that you're interested in. Now, I have two different species in my fish room. I have the blue platinum Medakas. They are just a gorgeous fish with that blue hue to them and that silver platinum body. But then I also have my red orange King Yama Medaka rice fish. Them too. I mean, that color on them is just eye popping, and I absolutely love them. Now, I also have another species of rice fish in my fish room. It's the Matano rice fish. Now, they are not a Medaka rice fish. They come from a lake of Indonesia. They're more of a rare rice fish, so they come from different water temperatures compared to the Medakas. Today, I'm mostly going to be talking about the Medakas, but I will talk a little bit about those Matanos just because I'm breeding them in my fish room as well. So, but first, really, let's talk about the tank setup. So really with tank setup, you can pretty much do whatever you want. They're very hardy fish. They have no in particular needs that I have seen personally. They don't need heaters. You don't want probably a lot of flow. They do like to hang out all different levels of the aquarium. But when it comes to breeding them in your aquariums, that's where I personally have found no luck with it. With my Medakas themselves, my King Yamas, the red orange ones I've had them for over a year, and I haven't seen any eggs or anything on any of them the entire time within my aquarium. The platinum blues, same thing. I got them as eggs last year, probably around this time, and I grew them up over the winter and they're adult size, and I've never seen any type of eggs on them at all until a few weeks ago. I started seeing a few females in my tank that had eggs on them. I haven't found any fry, but it's the first time I've seen that within that tank with the Medakas. Now, my Matano rice fish, which again is not a Medaka, I breed them specifically indoors, but that's a whole different story. So with the Medakas, then if I'm not breeding them inside and I want to breed them, that's where their popularity comes, and that is outside in the summer tubs. So let's talk about the summer tub setup. So if you're putting your Medakas outside in your tubs, well, even in your tanks inside, for that matter, if you're going to scape it with plants and live plants, the one thing I do say to keep in mind really is what plants you put in there, because they are fish that are going to, the female will put their eggs on their belly and then they'll rub them off on plants or your spawning mops near the surface typically. So if you have a lot of floating plants or plants that are high, like resting to the surface of the water, they may rub them off onto those plants rather than your spawning mop. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But for me, I have lily pads, I have guppy grass everywhere within my summer tubs, but I also have probably a bunch of spawning mops in every single tub as well, and I'm still successful. So in order to collect those eggs, you need spawning mops, right? So I have two different types of spawning mops in my summer tubs, and I've had success with both. Now, they're both DIY'd. I made them myself. The first one is almost like a Brillo cleaning pad. What you do is you just cut all kinds of slits at the bottom, you roll it up, cut a piece of pool noodle, and you stick it in there and you float it, and the fish will go within there and they'll rub their eggs off into those pieces of that cleaning pad. The other spawning mop I have in there is this yarn material that I made, and I made my own, again, yarn looking spawning mops. Again, did that, tied them off and put them on a piece of pool noodle so they float at the surface. Now, you can buy spawning mops online at different places. I know Aquarium Co-op sells them, and I'm sure there's other places online, but it's very simple and easy to make these DIY and save yourself a few bucks. Now, floating them in there in the mornings is usually when I see these fish with their eggs on their bellies. they rub them off, and then that's when you go look for eggs later in the day. What I do is I'll go check every single spawning mop, and then I take a little container out there with some water from the pond, and I will cycle through every single spawning mop and pull eggs. Now, obviously, because I have different species of rice fish in here, I keep them separate because I don't want to get them mixed up. So after I've gone through every single one and I collected all those eggs, then I bring them inside. But as you can see, first off, in this tub, my big tub here especially, I'm having babies all over the place. So I am not only collecting dozens and dozens of eggs each day, but I'm also having a bunch of them hatch and grow out in this tub. So the little tubs, I haven't had any luck finding smaller, any fry in for that matter. It's only the big one. So I'm thinking maybe the bigger the tub, the better if you want to try to breed them without pulling the eggs. But that's what I found so far. But let's go back inside here and let me show you exactly what I do after I bring those eggs inside. So I have this little breeding station basically set up above my Oscar tank, and it's been working out really great. What I do is I have these little totes, okay? I fill them up with some water, and I have air lines in every single one so I get some oxygenation in there. And then I label them, obviously, P's for my platinum blues, my king yamas, and this is my Matano ricefish. So basically what I do is I'll bring those eggs in. Now, at first I was doing is I'd put them in this jar with a little bit of methane blue and water in an airline, and I let it sit overnight, then pour them in my tanks. But I really kind of was getting so many eggs, I didn't really have all the containers to do that with for every species. So I just started dumping them into the containers themselves, and I've been having luck with that even without any methane bloom at all. So looking at it now, I know it looks like a lot of algae and detritus and stuff like that in these, but they're full of eggs. Now, right now, as I'm making this video, unfortunately, there are no fries swimming around because what I do after I find them every day, I check this thing. I have this little vial, and what I'll do is I just go down, I find the fry, quick suck them up, and then I'm going to put them in their prospective tanks, which I'll show you in a minute. But basically, what I like about this is, too, if a fry does hatch, there's little organisms all within these little setups. When I pull water out some of the times, I see little copeds in the water. Because what I do, because the fry are so small, after I suck them up, I'll kind of look under the light like this, and I'll look, and I'll to make sure it's in there, and I'll see copeds and stuff swimming around. So there is life within these little tubs, which is food for these little guys if I don't get to them right away. But like I said, I check them every single day. Now it's starting to cool off outside a little bit for me, so the egg production has definitely slowed down. But I have found, excuse me, it seems like close to 2 weeks for eggs to hatch. And so every now and then they start popping up. Now the platinum blues, those things bred so much more compared to the king yamas. I had probably, I don't know, hundreds of eggs this summer from these platinum blues, where the king yamas I probably got more closer to 50, but that's okay. The problem is I'm not getting as high as survival rate of those platinum blues, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, this is my Matano ricefish. What I do with these guys is the same as these. I'll check their tank and their spawning mops. I put the eggs in here. If they hatch out, I throw them in their little tank here. There's like 2 of them in here right now. I had like 6, and I threw them into the main tank a couple weeks ago. But with these guys, after I got fry and I got them out with this little vial, like I said, the king yamas, let me show you where I go with these. These I go to the tank that they're originally in. The parents were in this one, and I'm growing the fry out in here. Now, there's quite a few in here. They're still kind of small. Like that's one that was put in here not too recently. It's hard to see. They like to hang out at the surface. I've got a few other little bigger ones in here. Where are you? I just seen you. There you are. There's one. Starting to turn that orangish color already. Another one over there. So yeah, I've probably got a good, I don't know, I've probably put at least 20 to 30 in here. If they all survive, I don't know. I don't think the survival rate, obviously not everything survives. But so that's where I put my king yamas. My platinum blues, I throw them in this tote down here. Now, what I found is when I first put them in here, I had a bunch of them, and then I didn't find any again for a while. What I think was at that time, I only had a little clump of duckweed in there. I mean, guppy grass, excuse me. And I don't think there was enough something in there, bioload, to pull that out of the water column, and they probably wound up dying. So I stepped up my water changes on these little containers because of that. So, but there are probably a good 20 or 30 in there right now growing out. But also with my summer tub outside, I pulled some of these, the bigger rice fish out of there, the babies that I could find, and I stuck them down here. Now, funny story, in my big tub there, I only have the platinum blue rice fish, okay? But at first I saw a little fry that was turning a little orange, and I thought that was strange. It's in here. I pulled it out of the tub. It's one of those king yamas. I don't know how it got into the big tub, because there are no king yamas in there, but it did. So I don't know if I had an egg stuck to like my finger when I put my hand into that tub and it got released into there, and it was just that lucky that it grew out. Let's see if I can get a shot. It's in here somewhere. I just seen it. Oh, it's back there. So yeah, that's a kind of interesting story. Like I said, I wasn't even breeding them in that tank, so I don't know how it got in there other than stuck to my hands or something like that. So that is what I do with them. After I pull them out and I had them hatch, I put them into their tanks. What do I feed them and how do I take care of them from there? So I got the Madakas in their tanks, the fry. They're going to start to grow out. Now what do I do? So I feed them is my biggest priority. I feed them 3 times a day. What I do is mostly in the beginning is I use the Northfin Fry Starter. It's like a powdery food. It is high in protein and it's awesome for these fish. I will sprinkle that at the surface. And I'll, like I said, I feed them 3 times a day. I'll feed them in the morning when I get home from work and then again in the evening. And I do that for all my fry. And then the other thing is this tank, I don't got to worry so much because it's heavily planted. Like I said, this tub over here, now it's grown out with a lot of duckweed and a lot of guppy grass so it can handle its own a little bit. But I do make sure I do water changes once a week in these just because I don't want any deaths and I do want the highest survival rate as I can because that would be preferable. Now, back to the fish originally, this is my platinum blues in their tank right now. I didn't put all the adults out in my summer tub. I kept a few just in case I had some kind of failure outside. I didn't want to lose the line. Now, these are the ones that I said that I've seen eggs once in a while on their bellies in here, which I've never seen before. So what I did was, if you can see, there's some algae in this tank. I kind of leave that because my hopes are if they're going to rub those eggs off onto something, maybe it'll be something up there and they'll survive and maybe be able to be tank bred. But we'll see. I haven't seen any fry, like I said, in here, but I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, Madaka rice fish are such a cool fish, and it's so easy to breed them that I really highly suggest it. Well, that's how I breed my Madaka rice fish. Everything from the beginning of setting up a tank to making spawning mops and collecting eggs and hatching them out and trying to get that highest survival rate as you can. Like I said, they're a cool fish. It's a hardy and easy fish to keep. Highly recommend them for anybody that might be interested in them and haven't kept them before. Like I said, it's just so cool to be able to have a fish you can throw outside in your summer tubs if you'd like and really see those colors sparkle under that true natural sunlight, but yet bring them inside your tanks and be able to see that beauty in them as well. Also, if there's anybody out there watching this video and you're successfully breeding your rice fish inside in your tanks, please share the wealth of information. I'd greatly appreciate it. That's what I love about this platform the most, is to be able to share information with other hobbyists. You know, I make these videos too to be able to share what I'm doing, maybe help people out there, but I watch videos so I can take information to help me as well. It's that merging information which makes this hobby so great, and that's what this is all really about, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And then from the surface to the substrate, always keep exploring, because this hobby is just limitless with information. Hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.